guys, I'm here to ruin the story. Considering that we had just finished learning about Spider-Man last time, we might as well continue on the streak and learn more about Superior Spider-Man, which I believe is one of Serby's favorite runs in regards to the Spider-Man comics.
I do. The first Superior Spider-Man is one I like a lot.
There was a lot of contention with the comments about people who liked and disliked it for different reasons. A lot of them valid, actually. I'm just interested to see exactly where the writers took this unique idea for Peter here, because I think it has a lot of potential, but obviously you can really mess it up very easily too. Just as a heads up for those of you watching our Marvel lore reactions, next week Serby will be on a trip, so we won't be able to get to record again on Mondays. So it's going to be another week wait there. Just hang tight, my dudes. Real life do be happening. I almost forgot to say it. Before we begin though, make sure to go support Alex. Link at the very top of the description, like always.
Imagine this. You've just been brain swapped into the dying body of your arch enemy. You've got days, maybe hours to live. You're toast. Meanwhile, your enemy is having the time of his life. He's just escaped death, he's got a brand new body, all while you rot away in his old one. And so you try and tell your friends. You say, hey, it's actually me, I'm trapped in a different body, please help. But their first response is to shoot you. Okay, change of plan. You confront the person who stole your body and ask for it back. He says no, but you know what? I'm taking my body back anyway. Everything's going well.
There was a point made in the comments. A few people were commenting of like, it was kind of dumb how people who were super close to Peter didn't realize that it wasn't Peter, because it felt like they probably should have.
I accept that critique. I agree with that.
I would agree with that too. I think it was definitely like a narrative convenience in order to make sure that this could happen, whereas in reality, if it did happen, it probably wouldn't have worked out this way. Similar to our critique of One More Day, where it's like, Peter, I don't think he would do this. Some people did argue that he would, considering like his state of mind at the time. But I would like to think that Peter was a better person than that and would know that Aunt May wouldn't want that. But yeah, that's just my opinion.
I was going to say, I think inconsistency of characters in Spider-Man comics is really common, unfortunately.
Damn.
So you can go from a run where Spider-Man is like really smart, doing all the right things, making good choices. Like things will still go badly for him, but at least he's, being smart and you feel like he's doing everything he could do. And then the next minute you've got like a One More Day where it's like, what are you doing? This is the dumbest thing you could ever think to do. And I think that goes with the side characters too. So in a run like this, it's like, would they have noticed? Yeah, probably. Is it shocking that the characters are stupid for convenience? Not really.
To be fair, at the very least, this is kind of a common issue with very long-running series, where when there's so many things clashing together all the time, there needs to be some level of a suspension of disbelief when it comes to events happening, because a writer really wants something cool to happen that they think is going to be cool, but it won't happen because all these people are kind of the way that they are. So we just need an excuse for it. Trust me, as a Warhammer fan, I know very well of this random bullshittery. This is why we all hate Manfred for randomly stabbing the guy in the back who was going to save the world.
To get your body back, but at the last minute, things go south. You see, your enemy came prepared, your plan is now in ruins, and you get beaten to death. These are the events of Amazing Spider-Man issue 700. As Peter Parker lies bleeding out in the body of Dr. Octopus, he takes one last look at his loved ones before finally being laid to rest. And then he wakes up, back in his own body, alone in a dark room wearing a completely new suit. He walks outside to see that he's now CEO of an entire company named after him. His employees hate him, his loved ones are acting really weird around him, he's got a new girlfriend though, but last time he checked, he was in the middle of something with Mary Jane, so what the hell happened? This is the premise of the first Superior Spider-Man series. What would happen if Dr. Octopus took over Spider-Man's body, and how would he change Peter's life for better or worse? The series is all about Otto taking that great power and responsibility and infusing it with his own idea of how to be Spider-Man, learning how to be a hero, a good person, all while completely destroying all of Peter's relationships with his friends, family, Avengers, and pretty much the whole city.
My god, this guy using Peter's body and being like this super macho, like hotshot entrepreneur guy. Definitely not Peter. Like, definitely 100% not. If Peter was
No.
doing that,
Yeah.
he's either like going through a midlife crisis or possessed.
Just think of Spider-Man 3.
This was the origin of Bully Maguire.
Also has a lot of genuinely good character development throughout the series, which is tragically ruined by one very bizarre, out of nowhere decision made by the writers, erasing all of the lessons he'd learned and spitting.
Well, it's probably not just Spider-Man. Probably a lot of people. I did see some critiques of why like some people couldn't really get into Marvel comics because of the long-running nature of them and how often so many characters end up getting reset. It's hard to get invested in it because you know for a fact that eventually it's just going to reset because they want to introduce new people to the story.
As someone who, like, status quo reset is one of my least favorite tropes, I totally understand that. And that is valid.
I feel like when it comes to that sort of thing, I want to reach a point in my life where I can enjoy stuff that maybe does things that I don't like. Because, like, what's the point of hating it, you know? I just want to have fun with cool things that I get to learn about and experience it for what it is or what the intended purpose of it was. So, yeah, if you kind of like remove yourself a little bit from that, don't get too invested, but still enjoy it, I think you might have more fun with stuff like this. Oh, on honestly, really any sort of media out there.
In the face of anyone who was already invested in a story. To explain how and why, let's go back to the beginning. When writer Dan Slott killed off Peter Parker and replaced him with a villain, people were very, very angry, so much so that Slott received actual threats of violence against them. And so to calm everyone down...
Bro, people will give you threats of violence for whatever you do. There is just no limit to how low people will stoop. It reminds me of the Kumo Desu Nanika situation, where it really wasn't the animator's fault for getting absolutely screwed over by the studio and having a bullshit, like, insane scheduling times that they had to complete, which made the anime pretty incomplete, unfortunately. But they did their best, and yet all of them were receiving death threats on the daily. It was just an absolute shit show.
No, people are the worst.
It reminds me of basically my entire YouTube career. Whenever I post a reaction video, it's like, you made a reaction video, die! Or, you're a VTuber, you should go die! It's like, what? What is wrong with you?
I just want to know, like, some people just have so much free time that they could just go and spend just hating on people. It's like, what? How do you... Their life must be fucking miserable.
It is just so weird to me. I can never understand that perspective at all, of like these groups of people that form together to specifically hate on something or someone. It's like, can't you find something better to do? Anything at all? Guess not. Oh well.
Yeah.
Down and prolong his own life, he made one major change to his original plan. Otto will still be Spider-Man, sure, but let's add the ghost of Peter Parker as a supporting character, with the goal of getting his body back. Superior Spider-Man issue 1 hits the stands. People read the twist at the end where Ghost Peter shows up, pitchforks go down. Dan Slott lives to write another day. This would create the formula for Superior's first few issues. Otto tries to be a hero, ends up completely brutalizing the villains, and Ghost Peter is outraged, acting as a voice for the readers. But, much like the readers, Otto can't hear Peter and doesn't know he exists, and so he might as well be shouting at thin air. Otto is unsatisfied with Peter's life. It's too undisciplined, too chaotic, and so he makes some major changes. First, he redesigns the suit. He adds new lenses with a heads-up display. He puts these retractable talons in his fingers so he can stab the fuck out of enemies. He's even added armor on specific parts of the suit, made of carbonadium, which is, how do I explain this? If adamantium was the expensive shit that posh people buy at Waitrose, carbonadium would be that off-brand version that you get from the corner shop. Right off the bat, Otto's approach to crime fighting is way more efficient than Peter's. He designs an app that will patrol the city for him, using these miniature spider bots as his eyes and ears throughout New York. He calls the police and the fire department for backup, so that they'll arrive at the scene before things go sideways. When he finds out that Peter never got a doctorate, he feels personally insulted and immediately enrolls back into university.
I love that. That's actually hilarious. He just feels so frustrated because he knows how smart Peter is. Like, there was a time when he admired him a lot, and the fact that he didn't do it is just insulting. Like, how dare you? With great power comes great responsibility, Spider-Man. Get your doctorate.
Every time Otto complains about Peter's life, Ghost Peter will be like, well, I'd like to see you do any better, and Otto does exactly that. However, this change in behaviour has got the attention of Peter's ex-girlfriend, Carly.
Okay, there we
as
go.
well as his sense of responsibility, Otto has also inherited Peter's attraction to Mary Jane, and spends a whole issue trying to sleep with her, which is just not creepy at all. Unfortunately for Otto.
And Peter has to watch as a ghost.
Yeah. Yeah.
Didn't sign up for this genre when I picked up the Spider-Man comic, not gonna lie. Like, there's a time and a place for that. I ain't gonna shame anybody, but like, come on now.
He was born in like the 1750s, and so his idea of a perfect date is ballroom dancing with old people. What's rather disappointing, and I'm sure this is just Slot giving the middle finger to fans, is that these early issues rather mistreat MJ's character. In Kraven's Last Hunt, one of the definitive Spider-Man stories from the 80s, Kraven the Hunter impersonates Spider-Man and commits a bunch of crimes trying to frame him. The only person
You're right, that did happen. And then MJ was like, what the fuck? You're not Peter. She totally 100% should have clocked in on this with Doc Ock being in Peter's body, but, well, suspension of disbelief.
who doubts him is MJ, who just by looking at him instantly sees through Kraven's disguise.
MJ out of all the characters is the one that it's the most like, you spent this much time and you didn't notice anything. Well, I mean, she's like, something's a little odd, but like...
He's really going through his midlife crisis.
Because she knows Peter right down to his soul. She was the first person to discover his identity, and she's been there for him throughout all of the tragedies in his life. She's basically his soulmate. And so, when Ghost Peter rightly points out, hey MJ, you know this isn't me, you know that in your heart something's wrong, MJ is like, whatever, and pretends like everything's fine. I know she's not psychic or anything, but it does seem weird that in this world full of shapeshifters, mind control, brain swaps, there's no red flags here. Eventually, Otto realizes that he and MJ are never going to work out because of his life as Spider-Man. And so he does the mature thing and moves on. Which is cool, I guess. I'm just glad I don't have to see him getting off to Peter's memories anymore. At least maybe he'll find someone his own age this time. Oh god, Aunt May. What's also quite funny is that...
Oh no! Aunt May, no! What the fuck? How dare you even suggest that, Alex? Oh god.
As these first couple issues are coming out, Marvel keeps printing all of the hate mail they're getting. They've just got pages and pages saying, this shit fucking sucks, I'm done with Marvel, you've ruined everything. And at the
Did we not curate any of this? I mean, I guess we're being honest. Like, we just left the YouTube comments on. Like, yeah, go for it, guys.
It's a bold move.
At the end, the poor editor is just like, alright then, see you next week. But I think a lot of people changed their minds as the series developed into its own thing. One thing I really liked is how it fleshed out Otto's character, mainly his childhood and his relationship with his father. Otto's dad was an abusive drunk who didn't care about his son's natural gift for science and actively discouraged it at every chance he got. This is first reflected in Otto's fight with the Vulture, as when he realizes that the Vulture is using child soldiers, he completely loses it and nearly burns the Vulture to death.
I forgot if this was a part of the video, but I think it was after we finished recording that you showed me these panels for this particular fight.
Yeah.
And this is
This
why...
is the reason that I like Superior, yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say the exact same thing. Well, I haven't read Superior, obviously, but from this one little battle between the two, that's why I find the concept so interesting, seeing a villain in a hero's body experience another villain in his villainy. Somebody who they've worked together with being not as acceptable to the villain.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's kind of perspective that you wouldn't see otherwise without a story like this.
Otto's backstory shows why he's so fitting as Spider-Man's arch nemesis, because they're basically the same person. They were both gifted kids who were bullied at school and received special abilities in a freak scientific accident, but it's their upbringing that sets them apart.
I was learning about King K. Rool actually earlier today. And well, and this is the same with all the other iconic villains with some of the Nintendo properties, right? with like Kirby and King Dedede, as well as Mario and Bowser. Like, oftentimes, what makes a good rival is the fact that, you know, they kind of have the same origin or the same motivations, the similar goals, or villains that stoop down to like the same level as the hero to play on the same field and to be better than them. Which is why, you know, Superior Spider-Man makes a whole lot of sense with it being Doc Ock and him being kind of the iconic villain. Well, I guess one of the iconic villains for Spider-Man. You could also say Green Goblin is also up there too. Yeah.
Spider-Man is one of those characters that has some of the most impressive rogues gallery right there with Batman.
Yeah, the fact that you can think of so many good pairings for Spider-Man is a testament to the characters. As well as, I guess, Peter's origin story being so flexible and being able to fit with so many different kinds of villains.
In his original comics, Peter Parker was a complete knob and would have stayed that way had it not been for Uncle Ben's death, but deep down he still had those good values instilled into him by his aunt and uncle. Had it not been for that love and support he had at that early age, Peter could have easily ended up on Otto's path as a villain.
Or we could have had another Maker situation out of Peter.
I don't think Peter could be the Maker even at his worst.
You never know. You never know. I wouldn't doubt it. Be careful with people who are this brilliant, you know.
I feel like even if Peter tried his hardest to be the most evil character in the room, he would struggle.
He reminds me of myself trying to play the evil path in video games. And then I just end up making the wrong choice and doing good somehow. I don't know how that happens so consistently.
In the series, in which Otto asks himself, what if he was able to go back and give his child self the love and support that he so desperately needed? He thinks about how it would have impacted his life and enabled him to use
could have
his
been part of
gifts
the
for
Avengers.
good, taking Peter's path instead. Or was this just a fantasy of his? Was Otto always like this on the inside, and would he have ended up as a villain regardless of his situation? It's not like this is an original concept.
Nature
I
and
think it's just
nurture.
kind of interesting how our lives could have taken different paths depending on small changes in our past. Otto's morality is put to the test when one of Peter's old villains escapes. His name is Massacre, and his special power is that he has a gun and likes killing people. More specifically,
His name is Massacre, and he has a gun and he kills people. I wonder why he got the name Massacre.
damage to his temporal lobe has left him incapable of any emotion whatsoever. He feels no compassion towards human life.
Oh, that's interesting because it has happened before. I forget the exact case. I believe it happened in Russia, but there was a particular serial killer who had reportedly like received brain damage early on as a kid from like a swing set. And then after on, they completely changed as a person, lacked empathy for a lot of things, and led to the whole situation that happened there.
There have been cases like with bullet wounds too and different things that have damaged the brain in just a way that it leaves it, very, very different and kind of messed up as you would anticipate.
Those kind of things make me question whether I am who I am because there's like a soul within me that is the way that it is, or is it literally just because my brains are firing off in a particular manner that makes me who I am?
Existentialism.
Whenever I get into any sort of series with you, Survey, that's what I expect anyway, so like, this is normal, and I'm fine.
Good.
In the past, Peter had saved Massacre's life, saying that it's not up to him who lives or dies and that superheroes don't kill, blah blah blah, you gotta do the right thing. Upon learning of Massacre's escape, Otto says that Peter was a fool and vows to put Massacre 6 feet under. Otto once again proves himself as an efficient crime fighter. He tracks down Massacre's hostages in advance, so that during their final confrontation, Massacre will have no leverage and can be taken out easily.
Nice.
Utterly defeated and about to be shot in the head, Massacre breaks down into tears, something that shouldn't be possible. It's here that the inclusion of Ghost Peter works really well. He's able to provide a more optimistic, hopeful standpoint in contrast to Otto's more black and white approach. If Massacre's still capable of emotion, then there's a chance he can be cured, and that's why superheroes shouldn't kill, because everyone deserves a second chance. Well,
but, counter-argument, when he escaped, 8 people died. So...
But is that his fault if it's due to his injury? Like, that's the question I think Pete's trying to suggest. Like, if you can fix it, it's like Kurt Connors when he turns into the lizard. Is it
Mhm.
his, like, is the blood on his hands as the lizard? Like, you could say it because he did it to himself, but if you remove
Yeah.
that factor, right?
It's hard to say. I think regardless, the end result is 8 people won't be going back to their families.
Yeah.
So, but then on the other side, if you choose to kill him, like, are you allowed to play God? When does it end, right?
Well, you're effectively going to the trolley problem with that then, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're choosing the one life over the potential others.
It's an infinite discussion that will never come to any sort of satisfactory conclusion. You just gotta pick and hope that you pick the right thing and accept the consequences, because not everything is going to be right all the time.
While Otto still can't hear Peter, he strongly disagrees. To him, massacre will never change, and the most efficient solution to save innocent lives is to take him out. Now, I'm not here to say whether Otto is right or not. I don't believe we're going to solve deep philosophical conflicts in a comic book video.
We never will.
What I do want to point out is that he's a fucking hypocrite. When Otto rescues the hostages beforehand, it's initially from a logical standpoint only. If I save these people, then I'll be able to take down the bad guy more efficiently. Nothing more to it. But as he's disarming the explosives, Otto acknowledges how he used to be a mass murderer, yet now he's risking his life to save less than a dozen people. One of the hostages starts bawling her eyes out to him, saying how she never thought she was going to see her kid again, and for the first time, Otto is emotionally moved by the act of saving a life. One of his first steps towards being a better person, and proving that people can change if given a second chance.
Yeah, he is the literal example of people can change. And you can call people out for being a hypocrite. I think everybody inherently is a hypocrite because we grow as people. We do change and we do evolve.
I think hypocrites in media are some of the most interesting characters because you can do so much interesting with that dynamic, especially if they kind of know it, but we're trying to just ignore that fact about themselves. I don't know.
I think it's interesting because it's very human. And I think people can relate to it very easily.
But it's interesting because usually it's something about yourself that you don't like. Because that's why you don't like when other people do it, right? So it's like it's kind of that like confrontation of yourself and your own like problems, but then just kind of pushing it down and trying to ignore it.
But it's also that acceptance of that part of you that you don't like and the attempt to change it, which is how you grow as a person. So realizing that and acting upon it, or realizing that and not acting upon it, I mean, ultimately, we all kind of start from the same position. It's just, what do you decide to do with that?
His hypocrisy is intentional because it shows his reluctance to accept that he has changed, and maybe Peter has a point. While once again, it's not exactly groundbreaking storytelling, this will be important later on. This same sort of thing would continue throughout the next few issues. Otto beats the shit out of some bad guys, Ghost Peter freaks out, then we'll get a beautiful moment in which Otto saves an innocent life and he's overwhelmed with doing the right thing. While studying for his PhD, Otto meets Anna Maria, a personal tutor who tries to sell her services to him. Otto goes to her house just so he can tell her to piss off, but ends up catching feelings for her and the two become romantically involved. He's becoming a better person, he's falling in love, what happy wholesome fun. That is, until Otto discovers Ghost Peter, and upon learning of his existence, sets out to completely purge him for good. When Otto plugs his brain into a fancy machine, the manifestations of Otto and Peter's consciousnesses are finally able to interact with one another. Peter berates Otto for being too brutal and using his body to take a life, giving a speech about doing the right thing and all that. But Otto calls him out for it, saying that Peter's more worried about his reputation rather than responsibility, that it's not about doing the right thing, but because he wants to be liked. And you know what? He's not entirely wrong. One of the main themes of
Wasn't it a Spider-Punk that didn't want to be called a hero? Because being called a hero is hypocritical?
I don't remember, but it sounds like something Spider-Punk would say.
Also, before we continue, can you try reconnecting? Your voice is getting robot-y. So anyways, back to the topic. I think being a hero is always going to be a slippery slope. And we have seen many stories that kind of explore that idea as well, where it's so tough to stay on the right path because of all the fame and whatnot that comes with it. And the human sense to use that power for your own gain, or that popularity for your own gain, or kind of indulge within it. It's tough. It is very tough. It does corrupt people if you're not tough enough to withstand that.
Look at every big YouTuber who's had to make an apology video.
Yeah. I myself am kind of afraid that if this channel does become that big, that I'm gonna get like a big ass head and be like, I'm the greatest in the world.
You do that already.
Oh, I do proclaim it without meaning it. But what happens when the day comes when I do actually mean that? Oh, what kind of person would I be? That'd be disgusting.
It's an interesting thought, yeah. It's like you can sit down and look at yourself and be like, yeah, I would never do that. And then it's like, what would you actually do if you had that much power or that much, like, I guess, ability to get away with shit is the thing.
Basically.
Like, when you can get away with it, do you have the restraint not to?
I don't know. I mean, I don't even have the self-discipline to wake up at the exact same time every day and go out for a jog or something like that. Like, I don't think I could manage this for sure. I definitely wouldn't want this kind of power, but I guess that's the whole thing about it, right? You're put in a situation where you're forced to grow or become some horrible monstrosity of nature. And humans can choose to do so. Goes into this whole other philosophy of, was it really our choice, or is it simply because of the things that we experienced throughout life that made us come to that conclusion? But yeah, we'll never end that conversation, so let's move on.
Stan Lee's original run was Peter's self-doubt and whether or not he was just being Spider-Man so that people would like him. The idea of Spider-Man was partly just an extension of his own vanity, his own...
This is imposter syndrome, actually. This is like such a VTuber thing, too. So many people suffer from it. Like, plenty of really big VTubers, especially the ones who grew super quickly, have been on indefinite hiatus because it's just felt depressing, you know? That like, this isn't me, but it is me, but it's not really. Do I deserve to be here? I don't think so, but I am.
Need for people to idolize him. More recently, Peter had admitted that his no one dies rule was partly motivated by selfish reasons. Simply believing that he's a good guy and can save everyone gives him a sense of worth and lets him sleep at night. And while it is a very commendable goal, that righteousness ended up costing the lives of innocent civilians. Is that really fair to the families of massacre's victims? Is that really the right thing to do? Otto believes himself superior to Peter, because he's not tied down by his morals or what people will think of him. To him, he's a better Spider-Man than Peter could ever be, and so Peter is left utterly humiliated and cries out as he's wiped from existence. This is twice now that we've seen our beloved hero die an unceremonious, unjust, brutal death. And you know what Dan Slott had to say about it?
Suck it up. Suck it up. It's Doc Ock's world. It is the world of superior Spider-Man. My cameraman, Rich, is shaking his head no. He's saying no. This can't be happening. It's happening, Rich.
Thus begins Act...
I'm going to tell you guys a little bit of a secret here. During the character designer ranks video for King of Fighters, Servi actively challenged the entire SNK community to come and attack them after making a particular take about a certain character there. I'll make it Google. And I decided to cut that from the video because I have already received enough death threats. I don't need any more. I don't know why they send them to me. Send them to Serbi. Like, or don't send them to anybody, actually. Scratch that. But man's got balls, gotta say.
2 of the first run, where there's no more Ghost Peter. Otto is free to do what he likes, and Dan Slott goes into hiding once again. Meanwhile, Carly Minecraft Shirt Cooper continues her investigation.
Why is she wearing a Minecraft shirt?
I don't know, but I kind of love it.
Going on wild chases and looking for evidence that Peter isn't who he says he is. Also, the Green Goblin's back, for some reason, plotting from the shadows like he always has. And this is where Otto takes it to the next level. He manages to blackmail J. Jonah Jameson, who just so happens to be the mayor of New York City, into handing him full control of the Raft, New York's former super prison. Otto completely renovates the Raft into his own superhero headquarters, employing his own foot soldiers and building these giant spider mechs. He uses his new army to launch
You know, it's really funny how these prisons in so many different kinds of media end up becoming like the safest haven or the strongest fortress for many other reasons, depending on the use. It's just such a versatile facility, you know?
Full-scale assault against the Kingpin, taking down an entire criminal empire without any civilian casualties. He also outs
That
the
is
Hobgoblin's
kind of
identity
epic.
to the whole city and completely ruins his whole life. And hey, this is great for Otto because he's no longer got an angel on his shoulder, subconsciously
Look at his suit,
influencing
though.
him.
This is
He's
such a
completely
sick suit.
I think it looks pretty neat. That being said, I'm sure that there's going to be several videos out there talking about how it is the worst possible Spider-Man suit in existence.
I mean, when it comes to Spider-Man suits, you're gonna have an army of angry fans no matter what you say. But
We're gonna, well, whenever Marvel Telecon releases, we'll definitely check out the designs for that in a video. I've already, like, Spider-Man
oh yeah,
there's some gameplay demos of Spider-Man and Ghost Rider at TGS this year. And
Yeah.
I've already been recommended a video of how this is the worst Spider-Man suit.
It's so funny too because it goes in such waves. Because people hated the Insomniac suit when it came out, and now it's one of Spider-Man's most iconic suits. It's up there. Like it's insane. Just the rubber banding that people can have on this kind of shit. It's like I get it. Like I love Spider-Man, and there's like the simple suits are great, and I can understand why people are like, yes, this is. You don't need all the extra flair and miscellaneous things attached to it. Like, I get that. But the amount of opinions people can have over, like, just changing the size of a logo or moving the lines up a little bit or something. It's like the world has ended for some people. It blows my mind a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. It's another one of those things that I could personally never understand, to be honest. Like, I've got other things to worry about. You know, like paying rent. Getting food. That's usually what I worry about.
I mean, I can have a suit and I can not like it, but it usually is not enough for me to sit down and be like, this is the worst adaptation of Spider-Man. This is dog shit. I can't enjoy it. It's like, I'll still enjoy it. It may not be my favorite, and I could wish it was a little different, but it doesn't ruin things for me that much. I apologize. I have the hiccups.
Best Spider-Man he can, right? Well, sure, but when Otto erased Peter from existence, he got rid of all of his memories as well. And so during battles, he's not able to remember who a certain person is or why he should care about them. This lack of Peter Parker not only inconveniences him, but sometimes puts him at a major disadvantage. This is not exclusive to superhero stuff either. It also affects his love life. Otto still doesn't really know how to act like a person, and so without Peter's memories, he has no idea how a proper relationship works.
Wait, was that a euphemism? Parker would know this. I'm not good at these things. Oh, no. Oh, no. That is really funny. I never really thought about it that way, but of course this would be how it would go. I don't think villains spend that much time living a normal civilian life and learning about social norms or social cues and picking up on that. They might as well just be autistic, like everybody, and not understand like whether she actually means that or not. What is the subtext behind this?
What's more, the Green Goblin manages to hack the spider bots, meaning that he and his goblin henchmen will not be picked up by the Special Patrol app, and are thus free to commit any crimes they want without anyone to stop them. Otto's efficiency at the expense of his humanity has planted the seeds of his downfall. Where Act 1 was all about getting rid of Peter, his absence in Act 2 shows why he was so important in the first place. That human element that is so vital to being Spider-Man and the cost that comes with ignoring it. And if Act...
I think it's cool that they did get rid of Peter in his brain, but there are severe consequences for doing so. And Otto kind of has to work through them. That Peter didn't die for nothing. And I'm sure he's going to come back, obviously, but
gives Peter's presence more meaning to remove it.
Yeah, it's not just a commentary from the sidelines. Peter's making a reaction video to somebody living his life, you know?
That would be a wild reaction series.
I don't know how good it will be, to be honest, because the latest remake of War of the Worlds, the movie, was literally just my guy just doing reaction videos to an alien invasion. Like, that was literally the movie. It's like, oh shit, we're being invaded. You guys gotta go this way and do that thing. And then, oh, okay, we're safe now. All right.
No, he's just a shitty reactor then.
Well, he's a reactor who got paid very handsomely for being the main actor of a movie. So get that bag. Hell yeah.
Touche.
Act 2 is about planting the seeds of Otto's downfall, then Act 3 is, well, his downfall. At the beginning of Act 3, we get to see how Otto's self-acceptance has evolved. Before, he was reluctant to accept that people can change, now he's the complete opposite and takes pride in this new man he's become. He's also learned the importance of his personal life. He's overwhelmed by his feelings for Anna Maria, neglecting his duties as Spider-Man whenever she's upset. After a couple of complications, Otto receives his doctorate from university, and the first thing he does is create his own company, Parker Industries. As he's signing a loan for like $1 billion, Aunt May tells him that pride goeth before a fall. If you need a translation, it's basically, if you're a cocky bastard, you're gonna fuck up big time. And she's absolutely right. Otto's arrogance, his black and white approach to crime fighting is starting to blow up in his face. He's rapidly losing allies in the superhero community. The city is turning on him, fighting back against his spider bots, which further benefits the Goblin's plan. And to make things even worse, Carly has now confirmed her suspicions and knows Otto's true identity. Before she's able to expose him, however, she is captured by the Goblin. Now the Goblin knows that Spider-Man is actually Peter Parker, who is actually Otto Octavius. At this point, it's clear that Otto desperately needs Peter Parker, something which is proven in the Superior Venom arc. One defining aspect of Peter, one thing that made him Spider-Man, was his indomitable will, the sheer mental strength to never give up no matter what. It's got him out of a bunch of situations before and is actually listed as one of his powers. But Otto doesn't have that, and so when he's fighting off the Venom symbiote, he doesn't have the mental strength necessary to break free.
I love that one of his actual powers is literally just sheer fucking will. Like, that is so based.
The only reason he escapes is because at the very last minute, Peter Parker himself comes to the rescue, providing the necessary willpower to defeat the symbiote. That's right, Ghost Peter is back, with small traces of his subconscious having barely survived the mind wipe, and once again he's determined to get his body back.
You
and so
just
begins
can't
the
kill him.
finale of the first Superior Spider-Man series, with the Goblins launching a massive attack on New York. You see, having read all of Carly's notes, Norman is quite offended that he didn't get to be the one who killed Spider-Man. After all, he's Spider-Man's arch nemesis, not Otto. And because Otto took that from him, he now wants his fiery revenge. Otto's superhero headquarters, razed to the ground. The love of his life, kidnapped. Remember those people he saved? The ones that he felt so moved by? They're fucking dead. And this whole time, Otto is asking himself what Peter would do in this situation. Okay, but why the Goblin? Why choose him as Otto's final enemy? While Peter and Norman came from completely different backgrounds, they still shared a lot of similarities back in the day. Their lives were both split by alter egos, which they struggled to balance.
Well, here's the thing, right? It's Spider-Man's arch nemesis versus Spider-Man's arch nemesis in Spider-Man's body. This is like the perfect pairing to go against each other, to be honest. Like, I can't think of anybody who'd be more perfect than this. Like, Rhino's great, but I don't think it would be Rhino. I don't think it would be Fisk. I can't really imagine anybody else that I know of really being in the spot, except Green Goblin.
They were often distracted by their personal problems and their attachment to people they cared about. What's more, they're both incredibly iron-willed and will always find a way to come back. Much like Peter, Norman does not operate on logic or efficiency. In fact, he frequently gives up his advantage due to his own ego. He makes decisions based on his own feelings and instincts, changing plans at the last minute. And that confuses the hell out of Otto, who can only think from this black and white perspective. All of Norman's qualities, that willpower, that logic-defying instinct, these are all things that Otto is missing as Spider-Man.
That logic can be great to solve situations, but it can also be your greatest weakness when you go up against an enemy who doesn't operate from logic.
Well, that's why so many things look good on paper, but you forget that we live in a logical society and in a logical world. So the more logical something is, the more likely it is to just fall apart in practice, right?
I think that's why stories that are like black and white, that portray things black and white, are just not as interesting. Unless, of course, if they're just playing into it for the sake of it and, you know, it's fun and over the top like that. Reality doesn't work that way at all. And there's so much more nuance to everything that happens in the world, and consequences for even the best of outcomes are always going to be a thing. Like the situation that we talked about earlier with Otto deciding to massacre all these villains, right? Yeah, even the villain called Massacre. That may have ended up saving future people that he might have killed, but then that may have also set into started like a butterfly effect, a domino reaction, where it leads to more people getting killed in the future. And ultimately, that still ends up on his hands, that he takes responsibility for that because he chose to take a life that time. And maybe it even led to this entire situation happening in the first place. But like, how would you know? You don't. You just make a call.
They're the reason Otto can't win against him. It's here, in his darkest moment, that Otto admits to his own arrogance and that he's not ready for such a threat. For all of his advanced suits and spider bots and giant earth-shattering robots, he was missing the key element of being Spider-Man, that natural impulse to do the right thing. Desperate and defeated, Otto rushes back to his lab and prepares his fancy mind machine. While his time as Spider-Man may have been an utter failure, his life as Peter Parker has changed him for the better. His love for Anna Maria is so strong that he'll do anything to save her, even if it means giving up everything he once held dear. By erasing his own memories to make room for Peter, Otto sacrifices himself so that Peter can return. With full control of his body, Peter is able to use his years of experience to defeat the Goblin and save Anna Maria. He saves the day without anyone dying and even manages to get a few jokes in. The first Superior Spider-Man series is basically just a love letter to what makes Spider-Man, well, Spider-Man. Despite all of his mistakes, his lack of organisation, his self-righteousness, he still had that humanity, that determination, and that understanding of what it takes to be a hero. Which is great, you know, hooray for Peter Parker, but let's not forget that a large part of it was how Spider-Man as a concept can change other people. Otto started off as Spider-Man.
Hey, anyone can wear the mask. That's his whole thing. Now we had Otto wear the mask, and it changed him forever.
I like, though, that when Pete finally comes back and starts cracking jokes at something, I'm like, oh shit, now I'm fucked.
It was certainly a risky move to pull off something like this, but I think by the end here, it did go to show you, like, more about Peter's character and how important he is to this world. Yeah, it really drives home the concept of Spider-Man by having somebody else become Spider-Man, which I think was ultimately a cool decision that could have gone really bad at literally any point.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And it does have its like low moments, and as we've said, like there's like character inconsistencies and things, but it's like the overall big picture of it I enjoy so much that I'm willing to forgive those.
It's like those shows that are so boring, but then all of a sudden they have like the most amazing ending ever that couldn't have happened without that slow and boring beginning. There genuinely are shows out there like that, but they're so hard to recommend to people. Because oftentimes it's like, oh, the 3-episode rule. If it doesn't capture me in 3 episodes, then I'm not going to watch it. But like, after the first season, it is freaking peak, dude. It is peak. The end game of this MMO is the greatest thing ever. But you gotta get there. Genuinely, there are stories like that.
Penguin Drum. When I was getting you guys to watch that, I remember for the first, like, I don't know, 7 or 8 episodes, I'm like, you guys just trust me, guys.
It was pretty yikes, yeah. Yeah, I get you, though. I was willing to believe you because, I mean, that's literally what I was saying when we were watching Monogatari. It's like, guys, you gotta trust me. There is something here.
And being an arrogant dickhead, only doing good deeds to prove something, to prove he was better than someone else. Yet by the end of the series, while he is still really arrogant, he now appreciates the value of human life. He's learned what it takes to be a hero, and his last act is one of selflessness and love. However, this is a comic book, and as we know, nobody stays dead in comics for more than 5 minutes, and so Otto reappears in the Spider-Verse event through some time travel shit. It's pretty cool, I'll talk about it at some other point. Then in the new series, where Peter is now a billionaire and operates
I wonder if he'll show up in the Beyond the Spider-Verse movie. That could be really neat.
I would love to see it.
I don't know at all what the progress on that movie is, but I'm just thankful that they're not crunching it out. Because the poor animators of having to animate Spider-Punk is not going to be easy.
No, there's a lot of things in that movie that is very like, I'm very glad they're taking their time with it.
For industries worldwide, once again I'll talk about this later, it's revealed that Otto secretly made a copy of his consciousness and is planning his return. A bunch of shit happens, it's all very complicated, but all you need to know is that Otto finds himself a new clone body and is more or less given Peter's blessing to go off and be Spider-Man. Does this take away from his sacrifice? Sure. Was it also needlessly complicated? Yes. But the point is, he's back. He's moved to San Francisco and is now living under the name of Elliot Tolliver, working at Horizon University during the day and operating as the new Spider-Man in secret. And so begins Superior Spider-Man Volume 2, written by Christos Gage. And sure, Otto is still very arrogant, insanely egotistical and brutal, but he's still learned his lesson from the first series. He still has a passion for saving lives, and goes out of his way to comfort people, even if it isn't the most logical, efficient thing to do at the time. He tries to practice honesty, and yes, it doesn't go very well, but he's trying at least. And he now—
Look, yeah, it is the attempt. It is a beginning for him. If you don't start, then you'll never get anywhere.
believes in second chances, both for others and himself. In the past, he ridiculed Peter for being self-righteous, and now he's doing things just so that people will like him and think he's a good guy. It does kind of bug me how he keeps calling himself the Superior Spider-Man when the whole point of the first series was that he wasn't the Superior Spider-Man, but, you know, it's his brand, I guess. I'll cut him some slack. Otto's tenure as the new Superior—
Look, yeah, man still has an ego. Just give it to him. Whatever gets him through the day, it's like, yeah, I'm the Superior Spider-Man.
Superior Spider-Man is short-lived, and comes to an end in the most bullshit way possible. Norman Osborn returns, but it's not the one you think. Instead, it's an alternate reality version who has spider powers and 6 arms. This is not the dumb part. Norman Osborn, 6 arms, yeah, pretty cool final villain, sure. Except that, once again, Otto doesn't believe he's good enough to take down Osborn, that he's once again failed as a hero and doesn't have what it takes to save the day. And so does he go and ask Peter Parker or all the other Avengers for help? Nope, that wouldn't work, apparently. No, instead he's got a way better solution. As I'm sure most of you know, back in 2007, Marvel thought it would be an amazing idea to divorce Peter and MJ. But instead of them leaving naturally or growing as people, they made them do a deal with the devil, aka Mephisto. Mephisto then erased their marriage from existence, and along with it, most of their character development. So when it came to end the second run of Superior Spider-Man, Marvel thought, what if we just do that, but again? And so
there's parts that I like about the second round of Superior Spider-Man, but it's a lot harder to enjoy this one.
What the fuck, man? How? Mephisto...
Like, I love that they gave Otto, like, a new body, and, like, he's operating as Spider-Man, and I enjoy his operating as Spider-Man bits, but,
He really is just that guy, you know? When Mephisto shows up, bad shit happens. To everybody, especially to the people reading, because like, go away! I don't want to see you. God.
To stop this Spider Osborn and save the day, Otto makes a deal with Mephisto to revert back to his old villain self, completely disregarding all of the lessons he's learned as Spider-Man. And yes, this is
so
we talked about earlier
bullshit,
how much I dislike
man.
the status quo reset.
This is some fucking bullshit. What
he spent all his time developing Superior Spider-Man, and he's learning and progressing, and it's like, and it's so enjoyable to go through this journey with him. And then they're just like, "Fuck it, he's a villain again." It's like, no, how can you? Like, I know it's comics, I know it's inevitable eventually, but this is just the least satisfying way to do it too.
I said earlier in this video, I'm trying to get to a spot in my life where I can just enjoy things for the sake of enjoying them. I am finding it very difficult right now to follow my own advice. I am a hypocrite. I accept it. God damn it, dude. This would genuinely make me feel like I wasted my money buying these comics. This is how I felt when I finished the Attack on Titan manga. It was a waste of my time.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's what it's like. There's things that the second run does that I enjoy a lot, but this really ruins so much of it for me, and I don't want it to, but it does. It just does.
I also said earlier, sometimes there are endings that completely shift your opinions about things. Sometimes there are endings that shift them in the negative spectrum as well.
I feel like we've had the conversation before. Can a bad series have a good ending and have that save, like redeem the series, versus a good series with a bad ending, how much that can destroy a series? And a bad ending to a good series will pretty much always be bad. Whereas I feel like you can sometimes redeem a bad series with a good ending. Like that was Odd Taxi to me, honestly. Odd Taxi I found really boring until the last like moment. I don't know that I could ever rewatch it, but at least I came out of it enjoying the ending, right? But when you go through something that you're really invested in and then just kind of have the rug pulled out from under you, that feels so much worse than any enjoyment you had previously, right?
I think a lot of people talk about first impressions, but there isn't a whole lot of talk about last impressions. Because I think last impressions are the things that last with you in your memory when you think back on that series as a whole, rather than as like the separate episodes that you're watching. So
it's like
endings are very important
to get you to the ending, but the ending will be what you remember forever.
Yeah, and I don't want to remember Superior Spider-Man with fucking Mephisto showing up again, being like, "Hey guys, I'm here to ruin the story."
Absolute kick in the face to all the readers. But if they wanted so badly for him to go back to being a villain, they could have done anything. Why Mephisto? If this storyline was so despised by fans and other writers alike, why do the exact same thing again? My theory is that Christos Gage was told by the higher-ups at Marvel that he had to make Otto a villain again. That he had to revert back to the status quo because
Honestly,
that's just what happens with comics every now and again. No change is permanent. And Gage couldn't speak out against his employers. Maybe they have a contract in place, or maybe it's just bad form to shit-talk the people who are paying your bills. Regardless, he didn't...
Probably. Yeah. I mean, to a certain extent, I understand. While there are several things I disagree with when it comes to YouTube, I still have to play by their rules. So, don't you just love it when corporate gets in the way of storytelling?
You love it so much.
Want to do this, but couldn't say so directly. And so he picked the idea that was so unbelievably stupid, as if to give the readers a little nudge, as if to say, hey, look what's going on here, you know, remember one more day? Yeah, same shit's happening here.
That's actually a pretty good theory. I would honestly believe that.
That's just like, you know what? I actually buy it. But
Yeah.
it's the only thing that makes it even mildly redeemable to me.
Mephisto. It has to be the guy that everybody already knows and hates and understands that this is like one of the worst things that has ever happened. So just to let you guys know, this is what's going on. Yeah. I feel that.
Nothing I can do about it. It's either that or he wanted to piss people off. And so, fake Norman Osborn is defeated, and Otto Octavius is back to his original form, cursed to be just another Spider-Man villain forevermore. Like the whole thing never happened. The rise, the fall, and the even worse fall. If you're new here, I'm not going to beg you to subscribe because you should be able to make your own decisions and only do it if you actually enjoy the video. But for those already in the loop,
the reverse
my
psychology.
Mr. Bean versus
it's
Superman
working.
video is going to be out next week. Obviously, I'm biased, but I think it's one of my best videos, at least the one that I've put the most effort into, so keep an eye out for it. Check out my Twitter, Instagram, my fucking home address, and come to this exact location and beat the shit out of me. Regardless, thank you for watching my video, and yeah, peace.
All right. Well, genuinely though, I think Mephisto might just be the comic book incarnation of higher ups at Marvel. Like he's just the representation that the comic book writers have collectively agreed to make it into that. But, you know, they never actively tell anybody about it, but that is the representation of them.
I think you could probably tell why I love the series so much just from the kinds of conversations we've had throughout this recording.
It is so up your alley.
Yeah, very much so. I think the first run I love immensely. And it, as I said, it's one of my favorite Spider-Man runs. And Spider-Man is my favorite hero. So that says a lot. But the second run is so hard for me because there is a lot that I like about it, but it really just kind of takes this character that they've spent all this time building up and making me really love, and then just kind of throws it in the trash. And it's like that's so hard to read.
Yeah. The Rise and Fall of Superior Spider-Man is such an accurate title for this particular arc within the comics. It is.
Yeah.
It starts with a great idea and ends with a fucking plane crash. Tragic, but this probably won't be the last time that we sit here being dejected like this when it comes to comics, unfortunately. There's going to have the highs, there's going to be the lows. We're just going to have to enjoy it as we go along.
I think it's just a shame that the lows is where Superior Spider-Man ends.
Yeah.
Like, could he come back? It's always possible, but it's pretty unlikely. It's honestly something like Spider-Verse that would be my only chance of seeing him again.
But yeah, dudes, that's gonna do it for us today. Thank you guys for watching.
Kind of a bummer ending.
Yeah, now you'll forever remember this video as being a bit of a bummer at the end. Oh no.
Damn. Cursed.
But you'll remember us. Oh. Our plan is working. But yeah, hope you somehow enjoyed that, and hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Later, dudes.
Bye-bye.